It's a new series. It's kicking off today. This is episode 1, and I don't know quite what to call this. In my little notes that I make myself, I'm calling it a new product dump, which sounds wrong, but I didn't have anything else to call it. So basically, we're gonna start doing this basically as we have enough things to warrant it. But there's little bits and pieces of gear that we all pick up that, to personalize it, there's bits and pieces of gear that I pick up where I'm like, oh, it's cool, I'd like to show people that, but it doesn't necessarily make sense to do a whole video and review on it because, hey, how much can you really talk about on some things? So we're just combining a few of those things into one video where we'll talk about maybe 4 or 5 different little products and, just kind of a quick little behind the curtain of some of the stuff that we're using. So anyway, today in note, so there's just 4 things we're talking about today. All these things were purchased by me. None of them were given. That would have been nice, but they weren't. So these are all things that that I own and paid for and all that good stuff. So first thing, just a new range belt. You could use it as an EDC belt, but this is a Aegis Gear Enhanced. Yes, they just call it Aegis Gear Enhanced. So I think Aegis Enhanced. There you go. But it's from Aegis Gear. These are cool. I've used these for a long time. This is not a new thing for me. This one happens to be new for me, but I've used these since probably 2000 and I don't know, 13, 14, something like that. So I've used these things for quite a while. I don't like complicated belts. I just don't. I don't like really 2 belt systems where there's the inner and then the over belt. If you ever see me, by the way, just get livid angry, I hate bugs on me. I just hate it. So if you're ever like, why is he so upset today? I'm not. I'm in a good mood. I'm in a good mood. Everyone's hot, but it's the bugs. So the Enhanced Aegis belt is very cool. It's very simple. There's not a lot of shit going on, right? And what's nice about it is the buckle is very, very, we don't need to deal with all this shit. It's very, very sturdy. So in terms of like racking sights off of it or anything like that, like even like if you had a slide that's out of battery and you needed to hit the slide on the back of the belt buckle to send it home, you could do all that kind of stuff. Very simple, it's just one of these little roller systems that locks it in. It comes with a couple of these keepers. That way you can just, keep the excess tucked up. They're not complicated, and frankly, that's what I like about them. Generally speaking, stuff that's complicated it's just not for me, They got a bunch of different color options. They run like $110, which I think is a fair price tag, especially given the fact that it's going to last you a very, very long time. The enhanced one is a little bit more stiff than the regular one, so just know that. I get the enhanced because, again, for me, it's a range belt. It's not so much an EDC belt. But speaking of EDC belts, this is not a new piece of gear at all for me, but it is something I figured I would show. My EDC belt's probably going to be very underwhelming to a lot of people. So this is it. It's from a company called Hill People Gear that I'm sure a lot of people know. This one's the underpack belt. It is shockingly basic. So I'm not going to loop it all the way through, but just so you can guys basically see how the thing works. Really, all you do, you just have that little tab, belt goes through, and you just Velcro it down. Like literally, I mean, it's about as simple as it possibly gets. There's nothing to go wrong. The whole thing's Velcro. So yes, I don't have the coolest dress-up belt in the world. Well, this isn't a dress-up belt, but I don't have the craziest daily belt in the world. But what I like about it is versus something like the Aegis that people will use, hey, if you're carrying appendix, the problem with it is that buckle's gonna have to get offset to like a belt loop on either side of you. And it's just a lot of clunky kind of bulk for me. Now I get it, the argument of a rigid EDC belt, I understand, okay? What I'm telling you is that this one from Hill People Gear, despite not being rigid at all, it is extremely, extremely comfortable. And for me, everyday carry, hey, part of that, for me, okay, and listen to smarter people than me, please, but part of everyday carry lifestyle is you should be as comfortable. None of it's comfortable, so why not make it a little bit more comfortable if you can? This works fine. I carry a gun in this, no problem. Like I still carry appendix on this. I'll carry a knife on this. So I'll have my basic supplies on this, and it's easy. And what's cool is since there's no belt buckle, like there's no bulk or even the offset. If I typically offset that on a belt loop over here, like it is completely non-obtrusive. Easy to you know, hey, mostly dudes on this channel, so we can talk about this. Easy to piss. It's not some big belt buckle. You're like, I gotta undo all this shit to get to my junk. Like, this is just simple, man. Like, it's very basic, and sometimes basic things are my favorite things. And guess what? It's 30 bucks. They still make this. I've had this for years, like 3-4 years at least, and it holds up absolutely fine. So that's the underpack belt. 2 more. Not a new gun, okay, but a new feature on a gun. So those of you who watch the channel may know that I'm a lefty, and AKs are not real friendly to lefties. So typically, if you would watch previous videos, typically if I'm starting a drill as a lefty on an AK, I basically am starting like staged on that safety because there's no other way to take it off. I have to use this hand because this doesn't work, right? So low ready doesn't really work because I'm just so, you know, flopping around. There's nothing to secure this rifle to me. So basically I would tuck buttstock underneath here in my armpit, and then I would stage that thumb on the safety, take the safety off, transition to that hand guard, and now we're in business. So this safety I picked up from Krebs. So this is the Krebs Ambi safety, which hopefully, by the way, we're working on getting a Krebs actual AK out here to do a review on. So it's a real simple system. It's, you know, basically it's a, use your, I mean, it's about as basic as it gets, right? Because it's AK shit. Thumb underneath, takes the safety off, boom, 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 boom. When I'm ready to safety back up, literally just very simple, right? A feature that it has is has a bolt hold open catch on it. So AK is not going to lock back on the last round, but if you were at a range or course or something and they needed you to lock back, show clear, then at least here's a way that you can do that. And then of course, you know, obviously you can, actually I would assume, nah, too much tension. So yeah, you're going to have to come back. You know, you know, it's a little finicky because again, the platform's not really made for us, but again, simple, right? Thumb, safety down, safety back up. So for my lefties out there, if you run AKs, there's different Ambi safeties for AKs. That is the one that I've thrown on a couple guns. I'm still testing it out, so I don't have a full opinion on it, but just a little thing there. Last thing for you. Oh, and those are 35 bucks for you. The Haley Strategic little handheld combat light, which is about 180 degrees right now, so it is nice and toasty. These are really cool. Let me just grab a pistol momentarily just to show you why all this is set up the way it is. Okay, so here's the idea with this. This is the D3FT Combat light. These run about 170 bucks, which I know, pricey for a handheld light, I understand. But most of us, you definitely should have a light on you in terms of, I don't overcarry a bunch of EDC stuff, but a light is one of those things that, hey, look, if forget about shootings and stuff, if I'm in the grocery store and there's a power outage because there's a storm, you know, there ain't no windows in that thing. It is pitch black, and you know people get weird in the dark. People get weird in the dark, okay? So this is a collab with Haley and Surefire. So, you know, that's why you see the little Surefire logo on this and the little Haley logo on the other side there. It's just a little 1 battery, CR123, you know, little 1 battery light. But the real hallmark feature of it, so if this thing's in your pocket, it rides pretty deep. If I can do it, right? So that's about all you're going to see when that thing's on you. Enough that you can, you know, grab it, but you're also not screaming tactical asshole. But the real feature of it that I like is the ring here. The ring is very, very cool. So the purpose behind that, for those of you who have done, I'm, you know, very rusty on low light, no light stuff, but you know, you might see the FBI shit where the light's out here. I would typically run a lot of like on the, that's crazy. I can actually hear the circuits in there working. That's crazy. Sorry, fun fact. Unless I'm an X-Man, and that's why I can hear electrical circuits inside of flashlights. But what this gives you the ability to do is basically use that ring as a little leverage point, and that way when you are shooting your pistol, nuts is basically I can still get 2 hands on the gun. So basically that's how I'm running the light. It's that sort of meaty part of my, you know, palm, thumb area right there that's actually depressing the light. And I'm using that ring as a leverage point, right? So I'm not slipping all over the place. So what's cool is instead of, obviously if you've got a weapon mounted light, that's probably gonna be a lot easier to shoot with, but versus doing something like this and shooting one-handed, what's cool about this is, hey, look, I can still get some sense of grip on the gun. Is it perfect? No. But generally speaking, that light's gonna be lined up pretty close to where the target is, right? And that way, I can still have the control of 2 hands. It's not perfect, but it's pretty damn good. I've run this in courses and honestly, big fan of it. It's a really killer product. You can do some ghetto homemade versions where you can, you know, wrap electrical tape and stuff. And to be honest, it works fairly well. But again, in terms of what I would consider like essential EDC gear, that is a light that I very much love. And 500 lumen, even though it seems like candela is kind of the main thing that people track these days. I don't know what that number is, but 500 lumen light is plenty bright. I was running drills with it about a week ago. And they run about 170 bucks. So again, not the cheapest thing in the world, but you know you're getting a quality item. So anyway, everyone, that's the first episode of new product dump. I gotta come up with a better name. That's just a terrible name. But anyway, new shit. Maybe we'll just call it new shit. But anyway, yeah, lights, belts, AK, Ambi safeties. If you've got stuff that kind of fits into this segment, especially if you like are affiliated with a company, you're like, oh man, they got something that like we should do on this. Let us know. We're always open to ideas. We're already kind of planning the next round of this. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Leave comments. It helps us out in terms of good old YouTube algorithms and all that fun stuff. So anyway, thanks for watching. See you guys soon.